Yeah. Yo, let's get it poppin' like some bacon grease. The beat is knocking like Jehovah Witnesses invade the streets. I'm related to David. It's my nature to slay a beast. Even with the nicest intentions, I do the same to beats. The objective is elevating the Savior King. We lift the science so high that he's over everything. But in our efforts in glorifying him faithfully, we're...
Yo, what's up? It's your boy IG, man. You're in another session of The Juice. Right now, I got Kevin Cooks with me. He was supposed to be my guest host for the day. We're still waiting on the actual person to come in. Your boy Live out of Amityville, New York, Long Island will be in the building. He come through. If he don't, we got Kev here. We gonna do our thing. So we was already having a conversation, man. We was talking about the project that Kev just put out, DB Precision, The Retreat, Part 3. So, man, can I just tell everybody about that, man?
All right, man. Yearly we do a DB Precision Presents. It's usually like the end of the year thing that Ryan does with his football program because, he has the DB Precision that he trains NFL athletes and some college athletes. So every year at the end of the year or at the end of the summer, they do something in Arizona in Phoenix. So they do like maybe 3 or 4 days of just working out, getting prepared for the season, just training stuff and also like fellowship. And so I've been tasked with basically executive producing as well as creating the music for that. And this year's project, man, is crazy. Like the first year was really good. The second year I thought was really good, but it kind of dropped the ball as far as the energy that we needed to go alongside of like all of the highlight reels and things like this. So this year, man, we just got to the highlight reels and I let Ryan pick all of the beats. I never heard him before we even got to him. He picked the beats. When I got into the studio, they pulled them up, and then we just went to work. And, so it's been a blessing, man. I really appreciate Ryan, and I know he heard me say this a lot. And, I'm about celebrating my friends, man, and helping everybody and creating that network. But, me and Ryan are brothers. And, like, I appreciate the alley-oops that he throws me because he doesn't have to. Like, he's at a position now where he has so much motion. He can go get anybody. Like, he had Lil Wayne on a pivot, so he don't need me. Yeah, he don't need me. He had Ice Cube. Like he has different people that he could probably go ask, but yet he still keeps coming to me. So I tried to get some people together that I think are dope, that I think actually have something to offer musically, and then we just put together a good seven song project. People have been saying what their favorite songs are, but I love all of them. But I think Never might be my favorite one at this point because of the beat switch. And I think that that back and forth that me and Bishop did at the back end of that was real. And look, that back and forth, literally, we wrote that whole thing. Like that song, all of the songs were written in the studio, first of all. But that back and forth, that was like 3.5 minutes of us writing. Like he go in, spit, he leave, I come in, blah, blah, blah. And we did it like that. And it just came out so great, man. So I'm excited for everybody to hear that.
I could say though, like listening to the project, it's the first time I ever heard you rap fast, man. So like that caught my attention first off. Like,
yeah.
Like wait, that's not the Kev I know. But you a little more methodical with your lyrics and stuff like that. So you rapping fast, I was like, oh, this is another part of him I ain't never seen. So when you start doing that?
Well, I think I've had a couple of songs where I've played with it a little bit, but not as much as that. So when I get to the beats, it's like, my whole process is I never go into a project with actually like having an idea. Like I knew what we were trying to accomplish, but I don't go in like, hey man, I'm going to write a song about this. I literally put the track on and like whatever the track say do, let's do it. And so I wanted to break the monotony a little bit of, having a rap style. So it's like you have a rap style and generally you pick beats that your spirit feels and then you write like that. So I was like, nah, man, let's do a little something different. And it worked, and shoot, the people who were a part of the project, they actually like loved it. So that meant a lot to me. So when I got to that, it's not like I never listened to anything like that, but I just never preferred that rap style. But then I was like, man, let's do it and let's just see how it comes out. So when I come out the booth and with Jazz, the guy who produced it and mixed, mastered it and recorded it, when I come out the booth and he got this look on his face and I'm like, okay, now I know I done did something because if Jazz feel it, I know I've done something. It's almost like I told him that and I was calling with him in the studio. I said, man, look, I've been looking for your approval for a while, but it was after he had already like gave me that look and said, Kev, that's the one. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I knew we were on to something. And, putting the project together, we literally did the whole project in 2 days.
Wow. Dang, y'all did y'all thing on that. Well, see, I wish everybody would have been here when we started this conversation. Like you were explaining how Zay the Prophet, how you know him and how he got on the track. I want you to go into that for the people that weren't around because we were talking way before this, waiting, and we just decided to go on
Right.
and just start the show for you.
Yeah. So like Zay, man, Zay's father is a basketball trainer. So my oldest son is 15 and he trains with Zay's father. But I met Zay's mother when I first moved to Houston because at that point, that's when everybody was clubbing. We was just new to Houston. And she used to GM a few clubs, like the really popping spots in Houston. So years later, because I've known him and watched him play basketball when he was in high school and stuff like that, and going to games, just family, friends. And then anyway, when they started training, I got to like talk to him as an older kid now, so like 19, 20, 21. And he told me to do music, so he sent me something, and like I appreciated his art, and like I also like the integrity of what he says, because like a lot of young people talk about drilling and doing a lot of stuff that really wasn't, it really may not be what they're into. It's just how the music goes at the time. So I told him, I said, look, man, we're gonna do something together. So I called him. I told him when the studio session was. He showed up. He said it in the verse. I'm on my way from a workout, and I had to come write this verse right quick. He said it in his verse, and he literally did it. And like the thing I respected about him, I write fast, and there's not many people usually who writes like that. Like I usually have to wait for people to finish their verse. He came in like on some professional stuff, and really that was the first time he was in a studio. So he came through and did it. And like,
Wow.
I thought it was great, man. I was like, okay, we got this one. And his verse to me was really good, and I think he has a really bright future. But he still plays basketball, and he's in the Philippines right now. But I appreciated his contribution to the project for sure, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to do some more music moving forward.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now I really got into the part we saw about Bishop, how I think you and Bishop should probably do an album together. And
Yeah.
you were telling me how y'all work together. So I want you to explain that for everybody that wasn't around for that conversation.
Well, me and Bishop, man, I call him a little big brother because he like 6'3", 6'4", but he a big old kid, man. But he's artistic, and like I'm talking about, might be one of the most talented people I've ever been around musically. If not, he's got to be top 5 of anybody I've ever worked with. I'm talking about come up with melodies, come up with hooks, and do all of that type of stuff. So being in the studio with a person like him, by me being an expressive person, he kind of balances me out. Because when I might be serious, he might be playful, but he offers that good energy, man, and that good spirit that helps me be able to do the things that I need to do. And like, this project held weight for me because after the last project, I didn't feel like I did it the way it was supposed to be done. I intentionally wanted to make sure this one is great, as great as I can make it. And Bishop just came through, man, and like we just work well together, man. We have a good chemistry. That with like that back and forth it wasn't even planned. Like he was writing something, I was writing something. I was like, hey man, let's back and forth this and let's get it done. Like that's him singing in the beginning of the song. We co-wrote that part, the little bridge part of it. And we just did it like that. And then I wanted to intentionally put him on a couple of songs, man, because I believe in his art. Like I believe in him as a human. I just want him to get more to the business side of music and not just saying, okay, I can create, because he has a habit, man, of creating just to create. And I'm like, if you're not going to put it out, if you're going to deal with somebody that's not going to do what you needed to be doing, don't do it. So me and him worked well together, man. That's the little big brother.
Got you. I got you. Man, see, like we was flowing, and I'm just like, now that we talking, we just talking. Now I don't even care no more, man. Like it is what it is. I know Kev is go there. I want to ask you a question that I really haven't talked to anybody about.
Uh-huh.
It's about the state of hip hop right now. You know what I'm saying? I know you being a hip hop head, musically inclined, and all that. How it's really a transition to where women are running the game compared to anybody else. How you feel about that? You know what? What's your thoughts on that?
Great question too, because I talk about this all the time, man. Like, most of the time when I listen to music, it's not really the most popular stuff. So like when I catch some of that stuff, my son put me on. So when I'm looking, I fish for music because I'm like, okay, what's the new thing up? Like, let me look, let me check this out. Or if I see somebody like repost something, let me check it out. I think music needs balance. everything needs balance, right? Life needs balance. But I think music hasn't had balance in a long time. And the majority of the women that are popular only talk about twerking, they coochie and stuff like that. And they might be saying it in a way that's like really put together, but the topics can get monotonous. And so, you have people like Rhapsody. It's many female rappers, but I think right now there's an emergence of female rappers because just as in business or in life, the lack of creates the necessity, right? It creates an opportunity. So you basically have created a lane by marketing only one part. So you've created an avenue for the other people who want to get into the other side, and that's where it's going now. And now you see people like, it's a lot, like even Cardi. Cardi kind of tiptoes that line, right? Because Cardi kind of does drill music. So even though,
Okay.
like, I think women, and it's unfortunate, but women generally have to be sexy in music, right? Because they're selling music to men, and men generally look at women as sex appeal. We're visual creatures. Even if we like their music, we want to look at them, right? Like the Salt and Peppers back in the days, or most of the women, like it always has to be an attractive thing. It's never just about their art, and that's a bad place for them to be in because they have to start jumping through hula hoops in order to be popular. But I think now the avenue is opening up to where now they can navigate and be in and not have to just talk about their coochie or not talk about how they taking people's mans. They can actually put the art together. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's still going to keep going because music is changing so much, like as a genre, as far as hip hop. But as my dad told me as a kid, everything goes in circles. So at one point we had a lot of hip hop that was when I was younger and like listening to my older cousins' music, they had the JJ Fads and the Salt and Peppers and the MC Lights and all of these people and the Queen Latifahs. And then that kind of went
Yep.
away. And then Cardi and Nicki, and then you have these people doing those things. But now, man, there's a ton of female rappers coming out here because it's an opportunity. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I'm not chauvinist, so I'm not like, man, it's women this and women that. But like, I'm eager. I want to see what you're going to do with it. Just whoever comes in, whether it's male or woman, man, I love hip hop. Like, I love it. Like, I was raised to be a singer if nobody even knew that. My dad wanted me to sing. My grandmother thought I should sing. I sung in choirs. And that was supposed to be the wave, but I love hip hop. I love putting the words together. I love making words rhyme and creating these pictures. So anybody that comes in, the Dirks and the NBA young boys, man, I appreciate your art. Take it serious and do it that way. I know we all want to make money, but at the end of the day, just leave it better than it was when you came in. You know what I mean? And like, as long as the women are doing that, the young people are doing that, I'm fine with it. I mean, we don't break down movies and say, hey, it's too many Martin Scorsese movies talking about gangs and killing and, stuff like that. So I don't do that with hip hop. As you see, J. Cole has jumped on anybody's track lately, right? All of these songs that we wouldn't expect J. Cole to get on. So I think the emergence of the women are great. It's a good thing. I think hip hop is changing and starting to blend in a way to where we'll see a lot more of these mashups. But, if the women get on it, I want to do songs with women who are dope. I wish I can create a platform to put them on, or at least have an avenue to where we can meet each other and do music together because there's some really, really talented women out here, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely know that. I definitely know that, man. You see, you broke it down probably to a way I never would have broke it down. So that's why I asked you the question more than me trying to answer it. I had something else for you. I know I had hit you up one time and sent you something about the Christian hip hop beef.
Yes. That's hey man, look, I listen to like the Christian battle rap, and that's a weird space for me because I'm like, it's a lot. Like battle rap has to in nature be aggressive, like super aggressive. And like I never battle rap because I know my temperament, right? It's no way
Right.
you could touch me, no way you pointing in my face. I ain't trying to hear nothing about you talking about my mama or my girl, none of that. Like that's not a space for me. So when I tried to listen to the hip hop, the Christian battle rap, I was weirded out, bro, because I was like, I don't know how to take this. And then I'm hearing Christian rappers talk about blickies, and I'm like, it's going in a way where it's like I don't understand it. I wasn't raised in that way. I mean, God bless you, but it just wasn't for me, man. Like it's not my thing.
I wasn't really talking about the battle rap though, because I know there's a certain crew of battle rappers like A Ward, Loso, the Saga, different dudes like they
Yeah, they
battle
nice.
rap, but they weren't Christian when they started battle rap.
Gotcha.
You
All
know what I'm
right.
saying? They
That made
became
more sense.
Christians, and then that was already what you in. So you was already talking about that stuff, but then you'll hit them with some Christian punchlines in there, and
Yes.
everybody knows they Christian. And after I had the J Nice, the Kingdom Builder interview and Dre South and talking to them, they was like they would battle rap. You would think these dudes beefing, and then they go have prayer afterwards.
Right. Now that's and I think that's great too,
Like they
man.
know what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
but they know
appreciate
what's
that.
going on in like each other's lives. They talk to each other, even though they battle rapping each other. They know each other.
Right.
So it's like y'all in a genre that's just y'all. So y'all are
Yeah,
all a collective. So they really, a lot of them are friends outside of when they battle.
I get it. And you know, like even with like Christian
Yeah.
music, because I'll listen to Christian rap, and there's a few of them to me that stand out because they just make good art. You know, like I know some like I like Andy Mineo more than I like Lecrae. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not, and it's not because I don't think Lecrae is dope. I just appreciate the honesty in Andy Mineo's music, and like when I listen to him rap, he's kind of like he's expressive. You know, he has songs about his wife and like dealing with things about being a husband and father and things of this nature. So I like Andy Mineo. The Truth, I like The Truth. It's a few rappers. I don't want to like leave anybody out, but I appreciate anybody's art, man, if I can believe it. The reason why I don't try to dwell in that arena because I don't feel like you can have one foot in and one foot out, right? Like I feel like if you're going to be in a CH space, you're supposed to behave in a certain way. I'm not trying to say you're supposed to be perfect, but I am saying that I expect a little bit more out of you than I expect out of the average person. You know, whether you're a pastor or not. But if I get up here and say, hey man, you know, the struggle is this and this is what we're going through and this is the way to go, I got to live like that, in my opinion. And to me, that's the authenticity that makes music like make sense to me. Uh, I don't really feel nothing that's not authentic, you know, and you can say something is authentic until you see that it's not. And once it's not, I can't never take you serious no more. So when I see it's Christian rappers who I'm sure would I think some people just want to be famous enough to where they'll use whatever they can to get where they're trying to go. So you doing that, I think
Ooh, you said a mouthful,
yeah,
man. Because I agree with that
yeah,
100%. You said a mouthful because I've seen it actually just on this side, like reaching out for interviews and stuff, and it's crazy that a lot of the Christian hip hop artists, and I don't want to say all of them, but it's a pack of them. They think they celebrities,
yes,
and they act in a way that's contrary to what the walk is supposed to be. And it's like they're more worried about your viewership, you know, how much money, how many likes and stuff they can get off of this, when the actual goal is to save souls. So what we talking about? Like what you doing? And I hate to say when I first started like doing podcasting, it was what 10, 12 years ago.
yeah, I
An
remember that.
artist that I love, an artist that I love, and I was like, I reached out, tried to do an interview. They hit me with all kind of nonsense, and I was just like, you know what? I won't ever ask them for an interview again. I don't care how big I get, but I'm not gonna go out here and say you're a bad person because I don't know you outside of the business side.
Right. But I did growing up in New Orleans, man, on the West Bank too. I used to go to Life Center church, right? Full gospel
But that's on
church. You know, you know Life Center, Bishop Wiley. And when we
it's in Algiers, right?
yes, that's the second building. The original building was on Franklin. So
Okay,
we were in
okay,
like
yeah.
the old. It used to be the Job Corps building. So right, air conditioning broken. Like we used to be in there, man, with fans on, and like I remember going in there, man. This is when I thought I was fly, man. I go in there, I got this guest shirt that looked like a Hawaii shirt. I'm like dressed to the nines. I got my wallabies on. You know, I'm thinking I'm that guy. Man, it was so hot in church. It was like we were working out. But that's when that church was authentic to me, and like it felt like real church, and like I got what I needed. I was spiritually fed. And then they got the new building, right? And I'm not dissing Life Center because I think Bishop Wiley is an awesome man. I think that he did it. He's doing things for the right reason. But once he got the bigger church, the things changed in the church, right? Because now, basically, man, you got to pay. You got to pay for all of those things you didn't put in that church. You got to pay for the pews. You got to pay for the carpet, the lights. You know, you paying the mortgage on whatever you're paying on, and triple, quadruples from the last building. So the church just kind of changed, man, and it's a nature of the business because the people start worrying about a brand, and once you become a brand, things change. I don't feel like I don't know how to navigate that in that space to be a brand and an ambassador of Christ, like or with any religion that you choose to do. How do you teeter totter on those two lines? Like they're basically in two different spaces. And you know, we just live in a time where things are weird, man. And it's like even for you, like when you say, "Hey, man, I'm starting a podcast, man, what I got to do to help you?" Like whatever I can do. I know I'm not really the most famous person in the world, but I know some people. I can throw you on some interviews. You just tell me what you want to do, and I'll link it because I believe in what you're doing. I believe you have the heart for it. And you know, some people start believing in themselves more than they believe in their mission. You know what I mean? And it's like once you get to that point, it's over with. Like the mission is over because you can't be bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the mission. Like the mission is the mission. Like that's the whole thing that we all here for, and you just a piece of it. And once people start believing the hype and thinking that they're celebrities and they want to be that, honestly, I feel like that's almost until a point where you want to be idolized or your celebrity is clouding your vision of your mission. So, but there's also a position where I think a lot of people would love to be in to even have to think about that to be actually successful.
Man. Well, as you know, I kind of stepped away from the Christian side. So, because I told you about it, and I was like, yeah, I felt I was kind of on the fence with a lot of things, and I was seeing too much. So I was like, yeah, I can't be in that lane, being the person that I am.
I agree.
Because I'm all about authenticity, and I'm like, yeah, you know, it's a lane I'm seeing too much, and I kind of just want to back away because I don't want to be involved when people start to fall around me.
Right.
Because I ain't gonna be able to pick them up if I ain't right first.
I get it. Yeah, man. It's like, you know, having good intentions all the time doesn't do well for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like we sit up here and have good intentions about the things that we want to do, and like sometimes, man, like, and I figured this out with music too. I've always had great intentions. It's like people where the spirit hit me, man, and it's like I remember when I first started producing music. I bought a Motif 6. I just went in the Guitar Center in Elmwood. Went to Guitar Center, didn't know what it was like. Hey, man, I need something to produce music. The dude pointed me to something. Man, I don't know how to play no piano. I don't know how to do none of that. He pointed me to it. Let me get that. Right. So I wound up giving that to somebody, and not like then. I had worked on it for a while, you know, a couple of years. Then I got a new guy come in. He's like, man, he want to do beats, and he's doing it on like Fruity Loops. I say, hey, man, this could help you a little bit more. Why don't you use this keyboard? And, you know, blend the two together. So, but my spirit hit me to say, hey, man, give him that. You know, pour that into him. And so I did. And I was still producing at the time, but I gave him that. And then I was kind of like, okay, we going to work together anyway. I'm going to just get to the rhymes. And then he fell out of love with music and he didn't want to do it no more. So he still had the keyboard and wasn't producing any more music anymore. And like, I can't be mad at you for what you're doing it for, but it's like, sometimes it just makes you feel like in anything, whether you're doing your podcasting or whatever, the show doesn't stop. And we got to keep making moves despite what everything is going on around us. Like if we don't want people around us that are rats or people like, and when I say rats, not in no criminal way, but rats just like bad people. If we want to clean that up, we got to clean that up and like put people around us or learn how to do it yourself. And that way you don't need nobody else. You know, you do it yourself. You eliminating some of the need to have those people around you. So, but if it's your mission and like what you having the juice and your other platforms, I believe in it, man. Just don't stop. No matter how much you get discouraged or, you know, they may be on some other stuff. It doesn't matter what they do because if this is what you're here for, you're going to be successful anyway if you just keep your eyes on your vision.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not truly done with Christian. You know, I'm CHH adjacent. Like I said,
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'm in the suburbs over here, man. I ain't really in the hood, but I'm there. So, you know, because I'm still listening to him. Like I posted Star Ringo and Aha Gazelle the other day. Like Star Ringo is kind of CHH adjacent. Aha was CHH, but you know, it's two dudes that they've been through seeing the same things I've seen. So they kind of they rock with it because they're Christians, but they ain't rocking with everybody that's out there. So that's just what it is.
Right.
So
it's what is it? Aha Gazelle?
Yeah. Aha
Yeah,
Gazelle.
yeah. His music's nice, man. I like him.
He from New Orleans, man. What you expect?
Yeah, Ryan put me on to him like a few years back, and you know, I had never heard of him before. Ryan put me on to him because Ryan always stays up on music, especially like he was always the one that gives me the Christian music. But he put me on Aha, man. Aha got some nice songs. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why he hasn't blown yet, or anybody hasn't really put him on that thing. But I think he is dope. Like he is really talented, brother. And you know, all my hats off to him and all applause to him.
Well, he was signed to Reach,
Gotcha.
and then that just it kind of faded away. He left Reach, and he been doing his own thing. Because I know, like his mixtapes, Trill I Am and Trill I Am Too they was bangers, and I'm like, man, that's how I got on him.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so like he was the mixtapes, and then he signed with Reach, and then he put out like an EP with Reach, and then he just wasn't signed no more. I don't know what happened on their end. I guess they didn't see eye to eye on things. But that happens a lot of times with people with Reach. They sign, they don't ever put out a project, and then they're not on there no more.
But you know what's funny, man? Like right now, no matter what space you are musically, it is no need for a label
Oh
unless,
yeah, not at all.
yeah, unless, and matter of fact, if you're really in tune with who you're selling your music to, you don't need a label at all. Like some of these big time, like Drake, I don't know why Drake wants a record label because at this point, you getting a billion streams a month. You don't need no record label. Like, what are they offering you that you can't already do for yourself unless they're giving you money up front and, you know, giving you sweetheart deals? Because, you know, we can really push our music and do it globally from the internet. You just got to be in the right engines. So, like, you know, if you connected to the right people, your music can go all over the world. Like, you know, like I said, I'm talking to artists in Sweden, and I ain't never been to Sweden. You know, I'd love to go, but I've never been there. So if you got that good art, man, you really don't need that machine anymore. They're really only just taking your art. Like, and I saw Prince give an interview, right? And Prince said, may he rest in peace. But Prince was like, basically, what does it make sense for me to create art and you get all of the, like, you own my art? Like, I wrote the song, I produced the song, and then you have all of the publishing. Like, why do you have any of my publishing? You know, like,
Right.
we're not even in a partnership at that point. You know, you don't have a piece of the publishing. Most of the time, these artists don't have any publishing. The record labels have all of the publishing. Like, even, I don't even, like, the music business is so weird, man. Just by law, I'm supposed to get percentages for what I do, but even that has caveats because if your record label paid for your studio session, generally they own your masters. So you go in there to create a song, it doesn't matter. Like I'm in here doing all of the work, and they just put it on they upload it on something and give it away to everybody, and then you giving them all your money. And it's like they're doing the same marketing campaigns you can do online. So I'm like, if you already have motion, man, don't even worry about no record label. Like it's a to me it's a ruse, man. It's a hustle, you know, and it probably started with the mob doing a lot of their things back in the days. And now it's just a whole new set of people. And it doesn't matter what color they are because everybody who makes money off of music, most of those people are treating the artists like suckers. You know, they're not giving them their just due. They taking all their publishing. You know, they don't give them credit for writing, nothing. So, you know, for me, man, I just like, let's just keep creating. If God say the same, it'll fall into the hands of the people that need to hear it. And we all on Spotify, we all on Apple Music, we all on all of those things. So you're gonna get your spins and you'll be able to get your money. But as far as like AHA don't need no record label. AHA can just go do what AHA does.
I don't think he's signing nobody right now because I also don't think the dude that he rapping with a lot, Staringo, because Staringo from Monroe, and he dope too. Like, cause it's a whole like group of people that are kind of like they CHH adjacent. Like they rock with a lot of Christian hip hop people, but they still do their own thing.
Right.
Because it's Paris Charisse, like it's a whole group of them. And like Paris Charisse, Lecrae said he's super dope. And this from Lecrae. Lecrae was like he say stuff that the average Christian listener don't understand.
Gotcha.
He's so far ahead of them rapping wise that they just don't understand. And I'm like, yeah, he nice though. Like kind of like you sent me Keith Wallace the other day.
Yeah.
The Keith Wallace, like I looked and he got a lot of the CHH artists following him. But if you listen to his music, and I'm like, yeah, he on it. He love God. I hear that. Oh, but he gonna put it in a different perspective. So,
Yeah, and you know, I think sometimes too, man, we especially when you're a believer of anything, we kind of like gang up, right? We kind of like say, you know, this is what I believe because this is the church that I attended and this is the denomination that I have. But the world looks different, and I'm not sure if that's the right way because we ostracize people when you can't reach anyone if you push them out, right? And if I want you to come in, if I feel like I know something and I need to not save you, but I would love to give you this information so you can help yourself. That's the way we should look at it. Because let's be clear. There's no human being saving anyone. We're not saving anyone's lives. We're helping them to navigate this life the same way that we're navigating it. But when we start looking at people and being like, you know, I don't like the way he said that because that shouldn't be in the church. Like I agree, you know, I wouldn't talk about sex around my grandmother, or you know, I ain't sitting here cursing in front of my mama because that's the respect. But the world looks different, man. And like every artist, like I do, I got interested in even going to church because of Goody Mob. You know, and I've said that before. Like Goody Mob and Outkast are the huge influences on me, bro. Huge as far as just the honesty, integrity in the music and being normal men that just talk about the stuff that we deal with, you know, not like overly hard, nothing, just, you know, but they had songs talking about God and especially Goody Mob actually talking about having a relationship with God. So I opened up because of that. Like I got baptized because of that. So
I see you listening to Soul Food
the,
album. I see you was listening.
yes, the Soul Food album, my brother, like that soul. And look, my younger brother gave me the Soul Food album because he heard it. Because I don't even remember how old I was at the time, but I know I was still young. He heard it, and he was younger than me, like 4 years. No, matter of fact, he's 5 years younger than me. So he heard it and was like, "Man, you got to get this." And he bought me the CD for a birthday gift. So I pop it in, and I was in love from the beginning because it was just so soulful and like. And my whole point is, man, you just never know where that inspiration is going to come from somebody. And it could be Keith Wallace, it could be you, it could be me, it could be anybody. As long as we are nice to people, man, and we're giving them truth, people will gravitate to that. And it's more about the way that we live than what we say anyway. Because if what you say is not matching the way you walk, ain't nobody gonna feel that. Like eventually, people gonna look at you as a hypocrite. So, you know,
Right.
Keith Wallace, man, I feel like I believe him. I feel like he living like he rap. You know, and like he believes that there's certain things that we need to clean up and fix. And that's his right to say it the way that he want to say it. Like, at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged in a certain way anyway, you know, when we get where we need to be in the afterlife. So I, as a human being, I'm not here to pounce on anybody or say this person's doing that, but it's certain things that my spirit is not going to let me do. And it ain't, you know, money is not everything for me. I live pretty decently, but I'm not going to sell myself out or lose my integrity just to be famous or just to be popping. Like I don't even care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? So, but some people don't feel that way.
All right, I'm gonna bring it all the way back because, like, when I brought up the CHH beef, I think I had sent you a song. To be honest,
Which one?
I don't even remember the name of the song. I'm trying to think of the dude's name right now because, like, it's a wild thing because it went from that to them calling the month of June Demon Month. Like, it went left, man. I was like, it went from that beef to taking Pride Month, and I was like, I'm on a different thing right now. I'm like, I don't care if you're homosexual, dog. Do you? You know what I'm saying? I know that may be not biblically correct, but walking in love is biblically correct. And I was like, we can walk in love first, and then everything else we can have a conversation about.
But you know, man,
So that's
we get into that space, man, and I agree with that. Like hip hop beef is weird in itself, but Christian hip hop beef is even more weird because you're really taking the love out of it and being judgmental, which are direct opposites of what we're supposed to be doing biblically, right? So,
right.
like you said, we're supposed to walk in love. Like I can say, I was taught something, right? And in the faith that I have growing up, we couldn't do this. And that's the way I was raised. But that don't mean I have to hate what you're doing. That just means that I don't understand what you're doing. And like, you know, people bash you because you don't understand or agree with what they're doing. I don't have to agree. I don't have to understand. I don't have to make you feel good about what you do. You just do you. Like I don't have any ill feelings towards you. And this goes for everything. Like I don't do drugs. You know, like I'm not a heavy drinker. So I don't judge people when they do what they do, but it's just like, man, I wish you wouldn't, because I don't think that's the right way. But hey, man, I'll pray for you. God bless you. You know what I mean? So sometimes we get so deep into our own beliefs that we want everybody to walk, act, talk, think like us. And that ain't how it works. And it's like, we all have different reasons why we are who we are. You know, your upbringing, based on your faith or lack thereof, how your parents were, how your neighborhood was, you know, the things that you saw and gravitated to, all of those things form who we are as individuals, especially when we get older as adults. But to ostracize somebody because they doing, like, I don't feel like we should ostracize homosexuals. Like, whether we agree with it biblically or not, if it's in the Bible, it's in the Bible. We don't have no room to argue with that. But that doesn't mean that I can't love you. You know, like, truth be told, I have a sister that's gay, and I don't love her no less. And like, she's no less of a human being. Like, I ain't here every day, every time I call her, hey man, you going to hell. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you have your own walk. And I pray that whatever you do in life, you're able to look God in his eyes and say, hey man, I'm okay with what I'm doing. You know, and he'll love you anyway. And whatever goes with that that's just the way life goes after life. But I still love people, man. And like, I don't want nobody to be beefed out or, you know, not having things, because I've met some homosexual people, man, that are great individuals, you know, but I know people who sleep with 100 women. I don't agree with that either, you know, but you know, we can't pick and choose the things that we want to hate. If you're gonna go biblically and say that all of these things are things that we shouldn't be partaking in, it's a lot of stuff we shouldn't be partaking in biblically. So we can't pick and choose the things that we identify with. You know what I mean? Like, recently I got into it with somebody online about the LeBron James son. Like, the kid had a cardiac arrest. I ain't even seeing people talking about, man, Bronny get better. They turned it into a vax conversation. And I'm like, bro, where's the God in that conversation? Where's the peace in your life to where you got to take a kid having a cardiac arrest and make it a political agenda? You know what I mean? And it's like, people just they gravitate to what they believe. They're not really, you know, as human beings, we just want to be right. And like, I've gotten past that point of wanting to be right. I don't care about being right. I just want to be a good person. Like, I want when you leave me to be like, hey man, that dude offered something to my life. You know what I mean? That dude gave me a good conversation, or the moments that I was with him, I forgot about all of that stuff that I was going through. Or, you know, if I called Kev, man, Kev was the shoulder that I needed. You know, he helped me out. He never ran from me. You know, he always talked to me. Those are the type of things that are important. Some of these other things, man, like, we all gonna see in day 7 when God comes back and the trumpets are blaring and we stand up. We're going to be judged for what we did, and we'll all figure it out. But right now, it ain't no point in beefing over who's right or what's the right way, or, you know, whose church is the best church. Like, man, you know, we done created religious gangs, man.
Well, that's basically all it is. Like, with that, it's a separation between, it's like two factions, and man, it was pretty ridiculous. I actually had to stop watching it because it was like, all right, the dude's name was like Bryson Gray. That's who had the diss track, which
How
was
do you even
crazy.
justify? How you justify being in a CH space making a diss track, bro? They ain't got
Oh,
God
it
written
was,
nowhere on it.
yeah, it was. But I guess it all started with I'm trying to think of the other dude's name, because like, it was somebody that said something on a Lecrae track about some people, and then when they asked him about it, he was like, he named 3 people he was talking about. So then they got mad. That's what, like, Bryson Gray and them, their side, wrote a diss track. But it was like, you talking about one line. You know, when I put a whole diss track out, then, because it's like, there's an ultra conservative side to the Christian hip hop side. Like, dudes wearing "Make America Great Again" shirts and doing videos and rapping. So it's that faction versus the other side. It's like, it just got out of hand, man. Like, on my side, I was just like, I just had to start not following people because I don't even want to see this every day.
I
That's
agree.
what.
It's to the point now where it's like, a lot of that stuff, man, is like, you don't even see the difference anymore. Like, what's the difference between Christian hip hop and regular hip hop if y'all gonna be beefing and talking about blickies too? Like, it's no separation of the two. Like, we need balance. We need Christian artists to be Christian artists. Like, if you're gonna be in that genre, do the Christian thing. Stop trying to blend it to get listeners. I said this. When Life Center switched to church, right?
Right.
When we went from the old building to the new building, I never believed you need to advertise a church. if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're walking in the position that you should be walking in, then you're going to
A
be.
word of mouth to do it every time.
They're going to come, man. They're going to come. Like if you're called and you're led, man, things happen. You don't have to force that, right? Then we get into that point whereas we're trying to market the church. Like you don't have to market what God has already put into place. I can't believe you did that.
Oh man, you knocked your
Yeah.
knocked your camera
No, I
down.
ain't knocked my camera down. Mrs. Clean over here came over here to try to. She fixing stuff. I'm like, man, leave her. I'm looking at her in the background, like, all right, all right. Then she moved the exact thing that I'm holding my phone on.
Hey man, you're out on vacation, so you know things happen. It's all good.
Nah, I ain't tripping, man. She just cleaning up. So, but I had it perfect, man. You ain't see my phone fall the whole time. Now I can't get it to stand up. All right, we good.
There you go. You got it. You got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, man. Like what just being on this side and watching what's going on CHA. Yeah, there is no separation between the music. Wow. No
Yeah,
separation.
she,
No
she,
separation between the music, secular music, and the Christian music. The only difference now is there's a little God in some of them, but it's also hilarious because it's a lose-lose for a lot of those artists. Because they say God too much, don't nobody want to listen to them.
I agree.
And then if they don't say God enough, they don't even want you to talk about real life events. And they'd be like, man, you just like these secular artists. So it's like it's a lose-lose for a lot of them. Because you know, Lecrae went through that. As soon as he started stepping out and doing tracks with other artists, oh, he ain't saved. He with the Illuminati, all this stuff. It was just like, man,
Yeah,
that's the mission. If
yeah. I
you're
mean,
not
but
out, if you're not out in the fields doing stuff, like, who you gonna reach? If I'm already reaching the Christians, I ain't helping nobody else.
right, and that's the problem that I have is like if they're already at church, I don't have to reach them. They're there. You know what I mean? Like the people who need to be reached are the people who don't know God at all. You know what I mean? Or the people who never heard of God. Like, funny thing, like I said, Goody Mob made me open to going to church. I got baptized at a basketball camp. The guy who ran the camp was a pastor, and he was an ex-NBA player. And he took me under his wing, but he was baptizing kids at the camp. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's like those worlds to me were the two that influenced me the most. But you just never know where you're going to reach that or be in that moment where now is your time to go. Like this is the moment that God has prepared for your mission to be catapulted from here, or I need this to happen to you in order for you to be this person at this point. So, if it wasn't for that basketball camp, I don't know when I would have gotten baptized, if I would have gotten baptized. And if it wasn't for Goody Mob, I don't know if I would have ever been as open to going to church as I was. I wouldn't have never been in Life Center without Goody Mob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had already gone to my mom and them church, and then the old Southern Baptist church. That wasn't for me. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do it. I was like, I ain't gonna be able to do it. But life is just that way, man. And I don't want to be that person. So like with my music, even when I did this project, right, I try to keep the curse words to a minimum. Every now and again, I might say a curse word.
You said one in this
Yeah, I
one. I know
did.
for a fact.
I said one. I said one or two. And so I'm not
I
not
know that
anti-curse.
you
I'm not anti-curse, but I do try to keep it to a minimum. But it's certain stuff that I just don't like. When we was doing the projects, I'm like, hey, don't use the N-word. Like I don't want it on a project. Like we're trying to stay away from that. And that's just my preference. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want us to use that word. I don't like the connotation of it. I think it's demeaning. I've said it for years, and I'm trying to get away from it. So I need to not put that in the music. If I don't believe in it, I have to stand on that and say, even in music, if you do a song with me, you can't use that word. You got to figure out something else to rhyme. We're not using that one. But that's my thing. And like I haven't had anybody that was like, man, what you tripping? They all respect it. So I mean, my mama, my grandmother always said, man, if you live long enough, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff. You're gonna cry, you're gonna laugh, and your views are gonna change as you get older. Like even like with you in Christian music, right? You had a perspective at one point, but as you gotten older, your father, your husband, your views changed a little bit. That doesn't mean that your love for God changed. It's just your views have changed a little bit to where you're not as rigid about certain things that you used to be. So you don't see the point in that. But that's all growth. And what's wrong with growth? Like how can we How can we move on in life if we don't grow? You know, like that's the whole purpose of being here. Like the dinosaurs became extinct because they couldn't adapt. They couldn't grow. They didn't evolve like into a way that made sense. So with us as human beings, we need to grow and change and develop in order to be the people that we need to be. And, you know, I like the craze thing. I like the way he do it. I like the way that he lives his life, apparently to me. I don't know him as a person, never met him, but the things that I see is pretty much aligned with the way that he says he moves. And like, as long as that lines up, I'm all right with it. You know, you don't have to be perfect for me. So,
Oh yeah, no. I'm definitely with the way he moves because you got to get out there and do something. For like you said, if they're already in the church, you don't need to reach them, and that's what we're not trying to reach them. So you know, he trying to reach other people. So I like the way he moves. You know, except he gets himself in trouble when he starts to talk about political stuff.
yeah, I
But
saw
all
him
of them
do
get
that.
in trouble. Most of them get in trouble with that because they're well, most of them are black males, and so what they talk about political stuff is from the perspective of our perspective, not what the majority of the people that listen to their music see.
Yeah, and that's a
So that
dangerous
always
place
gets them
too.
in trouble.
Yeah, when an artist start having to, I don't feel like an artist should worry about what their listener wants because you're buying my art. Like I ain't never walk into an art gallery to be like, hey man, this painting would be fire if you just change this. You know, I'll buy it if you just change this part of it. Like that's not how art works. Like if this is not the art for you, go find somebody to do the stuff you like. You know, like I think the artists have to keep their integrity, no matter what genre of music it is. Keep your integrity, man. Like stay with what you say. If that's how you live and that's what you believe, then stand on it. Like, have you seen that Jason Aldean stuff recently? I think that's his name, the country singer.
Yeah, country singer with the song like I understand what the beef is. It's not about the actual song. It's about the imagery in the video.
Yes, but the imagery, like he knew that. Like I seen
Yeah,
a picture of him in blackface. He knew that. But recently he took the Black Lives Matter part off the video. But I was on Twitter and I just was reading the comments when they said TMZ had posted about him taking it out, and you can tell who his core fans were or the people who believed in him because some of them was disappointed that he took it out. And then some people were like, you know, all they kept talking about, they politicized it again. Oh, he let the left wing get him. You know, he let this. I wonder if people really realize, for the most part, the black community is not Republican or Democrat. You know, we want what's best for us. You know what I mean? Like, it's not who's going to be best. It's like it's been a huge awakening about what's right and what's wrong, and that fine line down the middle. And that's for religion, that's for politics, that's for everything. It's like more and more people are educating themselves about stuff going on. Some of the education is miseducated to me because it's coming just only from the internet. And I don't even think if it makes sense for you to be a conspiracy theorist and then believe everything you saw on the internet. Like to me, that's kind of goes against what you said you were in the first place. So when I see the Jason Aldean thing, I'm like, he had to walk it back because he's getting flack from it. And his core audience loved it. You know, he shouldn't have changed it, but as an artist, if you say it and that's the way you feel, just throw it out there and stand on it, man, and just accept whatever comes with it. But, you know, don't try to play the game and be like, man, look, let me walk this back because I need these people to buy this album. I'm pretty sure Jason Aldean don't have 50% black people buying his album.
Yeah, we're not the majority we're not the core that he's looking to buy the album. So
Exactly.
like he didn't have to walk it back, and I probably would have respected it more if you didn't walk it back.
But
That's
hey,
what you stand on it.
But you know, it became this though, and this is what I think it is. When you get to a certain level, a lot of your money is coming from advertisement. Right. So you become sponsored and like you're at these dealerships and clothing and liquors and whatever you're gonna be pumping, right? These people are scared to be attached to you once you piss black people off. Because now they're like, dang, I might have to deal with this flack just because he said that. So now these people have to change their stance because they're messing up the money. Like nobody cares as long as you don't mess up the money. You can say whatever you want to say. You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, America has shown us that recently. In the last few years, we've seen that you can do whatever you want to do in political office. You can say whatever you want to say as long as you don't mess up your constituents' money. When you start messing up the money, now you have to apologize and you have to start doing stuff like that. And I just think that's what happened with Jason Aldean. People are like, hey, man, I'm going to pull the sponsorship out because we can't be attached to that. Oh no, that's not what I meant.
Oh,
I didn't mean that. And then the video surfaced, a picture of surfaces of you in blackface. You meant it. Just stand on it, man. Just take whatever coming with it. Just take the stand on the sword. Like when the baby said the stuff about homosexuals, right? I try to understand people when they say stuff. Like it doesn't mean I agree with it, but I try to understand your point of view. So when he said it, I didn't think he was gay bashing, but I do think that the world is so sensitive now that everything seems bad if it's against what you believe. But he laid on his sword. Like he took it. He was like, he said it one time, said, look, man, I've already said that's not what I meant. Even Kevin Hart, he had an incident when they wanted him to apologize for something. He's like, man, I'm not apologizing to do, what was it, the Grammys or whatever he was supposed to host. He's like, man, I'm not apologizing again.
yeah, they took that away from him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing again. Like either you want me or you don't. At this point, I've already apologized before. I'm not doing this little cooning thing where we just gonna get up here and do that. This is what I said. So, sometimes, man, people run with the money and sometimes people run with the integrity, but I'm going to choose integrity. So, try not to say nothing stupid in the first place. You don't have nothing to apologize for.
You're right. And I want to get off this political stuff. I was going to ask you something about sports, but I forgot what it was because we was talking, man.
Oh, it's a lot of stuff going on in sports, man.
Oh, that $1.1 million for Mbappe.
Man.
$1 billion, man.
Bro, I played the wrong sport, man. Lord. When I seen that, I was like, bro, where they
That
getting
was
the money?
wild right there.
Yeah, where they getting the money from to even do that? But
I mean, it's the Saudi Arabian team, man. That's oil money, oil and gas money. Because they did the same thing to Cristiano Ronaldo. That's why he over there playing, but he playing for like $600 million. They had offered something similar to Messi, but Messi wanted to partially own the team. That's why he came to Miami.
gotcha. And
Them
that's gonna bring the cameras out, man. But that's the way that the TV revenue is expanding, it gives a lot more money to these sports teams. Like the TV deals, the sponsorships from Mercedes and Nike and Adidas and all of these different people. It's it's way more money now than it's ever been. So I'm looking at the athletes like, take advantage, man. If they're gonna offer you 1.1 billion, go get it. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna ever justify 1.1 billion. Like, how does that even make sense? Like, or will you ever make that back?
Well, it was 1.1 billion because they got transfer fees. It was like $332 million in transfer fees, and then 776 million for him.
Yes, I saw that.
So
No,
that's still for 1 year.
Yeah,
oh man, I already got myself some soccer cleats, man. You put them on, like we gotta do this. Like that's where I'm at.
Nah, I agree with that, man. But man, my wife's signaling me. I gotta go, man. But man, I thank you for having me on your platform as usual, man. I really appreciate you always doing that. I believe in what you're doing. So anytime I can help, man. But anybody that's listening, go check out that DB Precision Presents The Retreat 3. Matter of fact, check out 3, 2, and 1. On 3, man, we got Mikey ISO. He was on that song, The South is Talking With Me. We got Bishop. We got Zeta Prophet, and all of it's produced by Jazz. John Allen Stevens. He owns Third Coast Recording Company in Houston. Really dope producer, man. I got a lot more music coming out too. My brother Kendall helped me reproduce one of the songs that I said I'm gonna give you the exclusive to. I'm
waiting for that one.
I'm finishing up that one now. You're gonna like that one, man. That one got Ryan on it rapping and Jarrett on that song. And it's a song that's dear to me. I got it tattooed on my stomach. Ryan has it tattooed on his forearm. So the song in itself just has a special meaning for me and like where we were at the time. And I think it's a song that actually walks that CH line. Matter of fact, when Kendall,
it definitely does. It definitely does. Since I've heard it, I'm saying, it definitely does. I've been holding this. I've been trying to keep this one inside and not say nothing about it because
it's almost ready. But yeah, thank you for that, man. But anybody, man, check it out. Check me out on Instagram. I am Kevin Cooks, and on Twitter, I think it's Kevin Cooks 5 on that one. But I'm just look me up, man. I interact with everybody. I follow back, and you say something, you post a comment. I usually I try to make sure that I interact with everybody who interacts with me, man, in a level of peace. If there's anything that ain't peaceful, I'm not on that right now. But man, thank you for that, man. Let me get the family ready, man. As always, it's always a pleasure. And whenever you need me, man, if old boy, when he decide he want to do it or he can do it, I'll come back on.
Man, I always forget to properly introduce you, man. I'm always supposed to be like Mr. Himself. I forget really good. I think about it now. So, but yeah, man, thank you for being here. You know, you're always welcome. I don't even know what to say because I was supposed to be doing an interview today. I had all these questions sitting here, and now I ain't get to go through them.
That's all right. And things
y'all know
happen
how
how
to be
they
smooth,
happen, man. But you know, it's all about pivoting, man. So you did, so you
Yeah.
still got a show out of it. So, like I said, if you ever want to do it again, I'm definitely down for the co-hosting, man, because you know I like to talk too.
Yeah, I got you, man. Appreciate you though, man.
All right, my boy.
I definitely holler at you, man. Y'all was watching The Juice, man. We out.
We out.
Everybody keep it down for me.
Yeah. So, hold my own entertainment.
Because it will not be a sin in the eyes of my...
That was the longest 4 minutes.